Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jesse here. Thanks for pressing play. You're watching JLS Comics. I'm going to show you my new comics that I just picked up. Haven't gone to the shop in a couple weeks. So these are actually going to be some books. And my list isn't that big these days, so this won't be that long of a video. But this is going to be the books that I picked up over like the past couple weeks, really, for new comic issues. I got a couple new back issues, but I'll save that for a separate back issue haul. This is limited strictly to the new Comic Wednesday books that have come out in the past, probably 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending on the book. Couple of them, I went to a couple of different shops for them. The one that I was looking for, well, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, two different shops where I picked these up. So we'll go through these. I do want to give a couple plugs. Tuesday night, I know it's coming right after the holiday, the Memorial Day. So we are still going to be having the show. We do have a couple of guests, a little bit of change up with the panel for this week. So look for that. Probably some Wednesday. I usually do the preview over on Facebook. If you're not following me on Facebook, definitely do that if you want a little preview video for what's coming up. I like to put that out, and you'll be able to see what we're going to talk about. There's that. Also, shout out to Edwin from Strictly Comics. He just finished up with the raffle. He was doing a big raffle. Congrats to the winner and to him for putting together those fun things. Also, shout out to Justin, another panel member, Exile State Comics. He's doing Sunday Comics, Sunday Morning Comics. It's a really good live show. Not a whole lot goes on in the mornings throughout the week, especially the weekend. So Sunday's a good time. That always used to be when, the Sunday morning paper would come out and you'd get the big old, the funnies, the comic strips in there and, read through those. So if you don't do that anymore, that's a perfect substitute. It's a bit more interactive too. But I think that's it for the for the plugs there. I am over 800 subs now, so I think when I hit like 1,000, I'll probably do a contest. So I want to thank everybody as well for being a part of this channel with me, being a part of this JLS Comics family, and over the past couple years, I never thought I'd get this many subs, and I appreciate each and every one of them. And hopefully that means there'll be a bunch more coming up in terms of videos and years of doing this and all that fun stuff. So I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Even if I say I do, don't really mean it in the long run. Anyways, let's talk about the books. I've been rambling for near 3 minutes now. So this is The Flash, issue number 22. It's the third cover. Obviously non-lenticular. I am looking for the non-lenticular newsstand version of this issue as well. And then I'll have a full set of the newsstands for the Button storyline. But this one was really cool. Thought it was definitely something worth grabbing, and haven't seen it a whole lot. I know that the shops that I've gone to, the one where I found this only had the one, but they did have a bunch of the cover A's and the lenticulars. A bunch, but not a lot of these. So this is a book that I don't know a lot of shops got because they were focusing so much on the other books. So there's that. And I haven't, I read that, but I haven't read this one yet. It's Gwenpool issue 15. I do like the story. I like Gwenpool. I think she's a cool character. She's fun, I like the art style too. Haven't read this issue yet though. And you'll notice a couple of these are still completely raw. I ran out of bags, so I gotta go get some bags. I still have some boards, but I need to pick up some more bags. Alright, here's Amazing Spider-Man issue number 27. He's getting a little like transformery there, seems like. Fighting the goblins. I don't know, I haven't read the past couple issues, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure what's going on there. But I stick with it because it's Spidey. Alright, so this is Matt Hawkins and Tilio Rojo. It's Samaritan Veritas, issue number 1. It's about this hacker girl. Her name's Samaritan, that's her hacker name. And she just gets into a little bit of trouble. She's trying to get some dirt on some folks, namely the president and this company who has all this weapons tech, and they're after her. And I didn't know it, but it's actually tied into a larger world that he has going on with the Tithe and another book there as well. They reference back to it a couple times. However, you're not made to like you don't suffer story wise from not having read those yet. It just would sort of, he says at the end that it would kind of like enhance the world building idea around it. But in terms of this, you can read this without having read that. But I just think it's cool that it's all tied into it. And actually, at the end, he breaks it down to season 1, season 2, and then this book kind of kicks off the quote unquote season 3 for that world he has going on. Next, we have Victor LaValle's Destroyer, and this is what they call the unlocked retailer variant. And this cover is by Brian Stelfreeze. Basically, it kind of picks up in the modern day where Mary Shelley's Frankenstein left off. Essentially, you know, the monster goes off on his own, away from humanity. Turns out that he just was frozen basically down in the Arctic, and it goes on and on. And there's this lady, and then this boy here you can see on the cover, and it's cool if you flip it over. There's the boy, and then on the back you see the monster up there, right? So it kicks off, you know, it kind of is woken up, gets on this whaling ship and like saves, you know, the whale gets killed. He's like swimming around, pisses him off, man. He just goes to hell on this whaling ship, and then this whaling vessel, like the anti-killing people are there, and they're like, hey, cool, and they save him and stuff. It goes on. Interesting story. Victor LaValle, he's a teacher, I think, at Columbia University, and he kind of got this story. He was reading a lot from, like, you know, some of the news and some of the killings, you know, with the police and what have you. And he got some of the larger strokes for the concept to the story from a bunch of the news he was reading. Interesting stuff. So there you go. If you do get the book, definitely read what he wrote in the back, because it is pretty interesting. And if you see this going around a little bit, I'm just holding the phone right now because I'm kind of just not really feeling getting out the stand and all the other stuff, so deal with it. All right, so next we got Whole New Wolverine, issue number 20. Pretty cool cover there. I'm glad that this is going up as high as it has. I was a little bit worried that they would get rid of the story and relaunch it or something, but it's going. It's issue 20. It's awesome. Really like X-23. I really like her as all new Wolverine. I like her because she has organically been developed for, you know, well over 10 years now. She is her own character. Yes, she wears a similar costume, but she is her own character. This is an interesting story where there's an alien that came down, and you know, they're not sure why, but somehow this alien knows who she is. Like, she names her by name, Laura Kinney. And then there's this other virus that's basically like it's killing people really fast. And she has it as well. She can kind of fight it because of her healing abilities. And they're like, I don't want to give it away, but, you know, they kind of figure some stuff out about how she might be related to the alien and then to the virus itself, and figuring out a way to try to, you know, heal basically so everyone's not killed. And there's a doctor with AIM who's really affected by the virus as well, so she plays a large hand in the story. All right, next we have, okay, so we're gonna do Tech. This is 956 and 957. Interesting. It really, these are Batman, I guess, because it does say Batman Detective Comics, but they really focus on the team that they built. You know, like, yes, Batman is in it, but it's really like, this one is like all about Spoiler basically, and her kind of take on what it means to be somebody out in the streets fighting, and how she can do it a little bit differently. It's interesting. And I mean, yes, I like a Batman story, but I also don't want it to be redundant and just Batman after Batman. You know, so it's cool that we have more than one Batman title, but it's not necessarily like we have the Batman, you know, by Tom King, but then this one by Tynion and everybody else. Sure, it's Batman, but it's not 100% Batman. So it still feels like we're getting something a little bit different at the same time as it still being a Batman book. All right, speaking of Batman, we have Batman issue number 23. Okay, I'm gonna leave that up for a second. Batman issue 23. And this was actually, it's Tom King, of course, and it was a story dedicated to Bernie Wrightson. So basically, somebody's killed. It turns out that it is Alec apostrophe S, father. Alec being Swamp Thing. So he goes to Batman to help, and Batman is willing to help and try to find out who the killer was, and help him with that sort of mystery involved in that. And there's an really interesting scene where Batman and Swamp Thing are sitting in the smoking lounge of the library, and he's telling Batman about like the circle of life, and he knows this because he's very in tune with the plants. Like he can tell where someone is because, and he says it in this book, because the grass told him. You know what I mean? So he really knows nature and life, and the cycles there. And Batman's just really interested in listening about that, and thinking that maybe Swamp Thing maybe sort of had a change and he doesn't kill and stuff like that. Gets to the end, some things happen. I don't want to give it away because I want you to read the story. And then there's this really great scene with Batman, and it really pulls out some humanity, around Batman and his motivation for helping out, and some of the questions, and you could just sort of in the dialogue just feel his pain and his questions, relating to his parents, and it's pretty cool. It's actually probably one of my favorite stories of the week. It was really cool, and especially the fact that he dedicated, to Bernie Wrightson, and there's a building in here, and they call it the Ween Wrightson building. So Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson, right? So it was cool. I really like this story. I really like this particular issue especially. And it's funny that I had read that issue, and then immediately the next issue that I read was Seven to Eternity, issue number 6, which really, they were, all the characters basically are in the swamp, and you can see all the monsters here, and there was something with the Pied Piper that they talked about, to where he led all the villagers, basically, all these families and these babies and husbands and wives, right into the swamp, and everybody died. So they're in the swamp, and all the heroes there. The girl shows up. Pretty cool story. I like where it's going. Amazing, super detailed illustrations by Jerome Opeña. And then, you got Matt Hollinsworth on colors, and it's muted and it's vibrant at the same time. I don't know, it's really cool. So, awesome team, really great pairing with the art style to this type of story. It's very fantasy focused. So I really enjoy this book, and it's not just one of those, spec books. It's going to cool off after a while. I think this one is just legitimately really good, and it's here to stay. We're up to issue 6, so it talks about in the back some of the plans up to issue 9. So we definitely have a ride to go with this book. So I'm glad for that. Okay, next we'll talk about some white covers. All right, Harley issue number 20. That's a Frank Cho cover. Frank's the reason why I'm still picking this book up. I mean, I really like Harley. I'll be the first to say that. Dare I say, admit that. But I really do enjoy his artwork. I like Harley as a character as well. It's interesting sort of story. I don't know. I mean, I didn't know she had a catapult on her roof. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I pick it up. It's the covers. I'll just be straight up with you. It's the Cho covers. And then you got Superman over there with that cool cover, right? Just Powerless. I like it. I know I kind of predicted who the big bad was going to be at the end, with the black in the name and stuff. There's another character who's kind of like the guy behind the strings while all these monsters have been showing up, and why all this stuff's been happening. And Jonathan is the kid here is not with the parents right now, not with Superman and Lois, and something crazy happens to Lois, and I was like, holy crap, I can't believe they did that to her leg. I was like, wow. And then of course you had the neighbor there who, I mean, we all knew something was up with that dude, right? But like comes out with it big time in this episode, in this issue. Really cool. It's one of my favorite of the DC titles right now. I mean, I really like it. It's fun. It's fun and just what you would want from a Superman story. Grounded with the family, which is awesome, but big time with the battles. They've gone to space. They've gone to the moon. They're in this town. It just runs the gamut of the scope and scale of the story, which is really cool. I like it. And I think that's it. That is it, folks. Those are my last two books. Like I said, not a whole lot there yet. I still managed to get to 15 minutes, so let's cut it off there. If you guys like this, hopefully you will hit the like button. If it's your first time stopping here, please hit that subscribe button. I always want to have more folks here as part of the JLS Comics family. And don't forget to join us on Tuesday nights for Comic Conversation. We're up to episode 43 this coming week, so exciting stuff. And of course, leave me some comments, questions, and all that good stuff down below in the comment section. Love hearing from you guys. Love interacting. That's half the fun of this, But that should do it. Have a happy Memorial Day. Be safe out there. And don't forget to say thank you and remember those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country. This is Jesse here, JLS Comics, so this has been another new comic book haul.